Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started here tonight. And my name is Matt Shockley. I'm the principal here at Avon High School, and I just want to thank you for joining us tonight. Last evening, we had an in-person session, and we had well over 50 people in the ALC cafeteria, and it was a great evening, some great questions that they posed to us about coming to Avon High School. And really our purpose tonight, as I said in some of our messages that were sent out, is that this is an agendaless meeting. It is an opportunity to really allow you as the parents attending tonight to really guide the conversation with us. You guys can ask us really any question that you would like that may ease your transition or your son or daughter's transition to Avon High School. This is Avon High School is a big place. Next year, it's going to be 3,350 students. And we know that can be anxiety ridden a little bit, can be fearful, possibly coming to such a big place. But tonight is trying to allow you to meet two administrators from the high school, get to know us a little bit, and hopefully feel better once you leave tonight's session about your son or daughter coming to the high school. And you know what, it's not such a big bad place as maybe what you might feel like it might be just because it's so large. So I just want to welcome you, and we're excited to answer whatever questions you may have tonight. I have been here, the principal at Avon High School for 8 years. Two of my students, some of my kids, two of my kids graduated from Avon High School, and I was the principal at Center Grove High School on the south side of Indianapolis for 9 years before I came here. And this is around my, I think, 28th year in education, and just still really love what I'm doing, and just proud to be a member of the living in the Avon community, and as well as part of Avon schools. I'm going to let Mr. Hines, one of my assistant principals, introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Matt Hines. I get to be one of the assistant principals here, and this is my 4th year at Avon High School, and excited to meet your child here in the near future. I appreciate, I'm going to say Carlotta for letting us know that there's a semicolon there that may have messed up the link for some other people, so we're going to make sure we get that fixed here soon. Mr. Shockley, we're getting a message sent out so that the semicolon's gone so that people can get on here. So
is Mrs. Ayler on that through Parent Square, I'm assuming? Yeah. Okay, yes, great, thank you.
But this is my 17th year overall, 11th year as an assistant principal. I was a math teacher for 6 years, and have thoroughly loved my 4 years here at Avon High School. Just a wonderful place. We have great staff and a lot of great students that are just do amazing things around here. That it's a really good place to be. So I think you will find that for your child as well as they go through their 4 years of high school coming up, and 2026 will be here in no time. So.
Well, thanks, Mr. Hines. And we are, new Parent Square message is going out, so maybe we'll have a few more people join us, other than about 5 of you that are here. So, but we're grateful that you are. The best way for us to handle this tonight, especially as more people may be coming on with the new link going out, is posting questions through the chat feature. And if you look on your screen down in the lower right-hand corner, there is a chat bubble. And if you click that, and I know Carlotta, again, thank you, sent us a message. And that's what we will be monitoring tonight, for you to maybe pose questions to us about that transition to Avon High School. So if you would do that, we can start that at any point in time. Again, you guys are driving the discussion tonight, the agenda. And so be sure to start just posting those questions, and then we'll start answering those as we go along during the night. So looks like we've got our first question. Mr. Hines, do you want to hit that one here real quick?
Yeah, I'd love to. So yes, it's a great question. You know, we have 3,350 students in our building, and so it is a large place. And so some ways that we try to make it smaller. First of all, we encourage our students to get involved in some sort of club or extracurricular activity. we have a large number of students that are in, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's performing arts, band, choir, orchestra, our theater program. And then also we just have a bunch of clubs. We have over 60 different clubs that students can participate in. And we really want students to get involved with those clubs. And so that is one thing that we always encourage for all students. And I'll show you some ways to see some of that information about clubs here probably a little bit later in our conversation. But the second thing is we have a time during our school day called student resource time. And it's twice a week. And it's a time where the same group of students meet all year long in that same classroom. And it's about 25 freshman students. And then there are 4 or 5 junior or senior, we call them Avon Incredible Mentors or AIM mentors that meet with your, they attend that same SRT or student resource time. And they're trained in the summer. They also meet your child at freshman orientation that happens during the summertime. And again, the goal is for them to have a small, a couple upperclassmen that your son or daughter or child can actually talk with on a weekly basis to learn about the school, ask questions, and then they also have their SRT teacher as well. And so I would say that is probably the one of the best ways that our students get acclimated to Avon High School is through their SRT and those upperclassmen. I also would tell you that freshman orientation, which is before school year starts, it's in July. You should have that date already, but that freshman orientation is another great time for our freshmen to learn about our building in general. And so they, for whether it's going through the lunch line, just learning just the proximity of where different classrooms are. We really encourage you to have your son or daughter or child enjoy that or join us for freshman orientation. I will tell you that we typically have about 90% of our students freshmen will attend that freshman orientation. And that is the same time that we have almost 200 AIM mentors that are there as well that get to meet your child, who they will have during that SRT during the year. So I think I hit most of it. Mr. Shockley, did I miss anything that you could think of?
Did you, when I was listening, I don't think you said anything about a couple nights before school started, which is not necessarily about the whole community, but I'll do that. So one thing is that a couple nights before that first day of school, we will have a kind of a freshman open house, so to speak. It's kind of an ice cream. We serve ice cream as well that night. And really, it's an opportunity for freshmen and their families to walk the building with your students' schedule in hand and really get a sense of what that schedule looks like. And that you can walk the building. It's like from 6 to 8 p.m. and we will provide more updates about that as we approach that time this summer. But that's just another opportunity for kids and families to come into this big building and really feel comfortable about that first day of school. And I know exactly where I am going that first couple days of school. So that's another thing that we have also that's coming up. Another thing that I would mention is that in early August, we will have a kind of back to school night, meet the teacher night. And we usually get a lot of freshman parents coming to that evening, and it makes a lot of sense that you would. And basically, you're going to follow your child's schedule that evening, and that will allow you to work your way around the building and see what your student's day is like, but also meet those teachers and get an understanding of who they are, but also the courses that they're teaching. And again, we will provide information about that as we approach the school year and start the school year. So I would say there are a lot of things that are front loaded at the beginning of the school year to really help freshmen and their parents feel welcomed and have an easy transition to Avon High School. And before we maybe go to that, Mr. Hines, I just want to welcome.
Are you going to go take a shower?
I want to welcome a bunch of people who have just hopped on. I know that we had I know we had a bad link and we got that sent back out. Now we've got a bunch of people on. So thank you for being patient with us, and I apologize for that. We literally just got started. And if you have a question that you would like to ask, please use the chat box feature, which is in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And that is where you will pose questions. And then Mr. Hines, who's one of my assistant principal and one of my assistant principals, and myself, Matt Shockley, the principal, we will get to those questions as quickly as we can. Again, this is an agendaless meeting where you guys really drive the agenda with questions that you might pose. So Mr. Hines, if you want to go ahead and go to the website.
Yeah, so you can see that on there on the screen.
Yes, I can. Yep.
Okay. So I just, the quickest way for me, I just Google Avon High School. But one of the things, Carlotta, I mentioned was clubs. And if you go to our main screen and you just scroll down, one of the first things that's there is a clubs link, and you can click learn more at the clubs. And you will see on here all of the different clubs that we offer. And so we have a number of clubs as I'm scrolling down through here, from Japanese club to Latinx to Life Song to Peer Pals. I mean, you got all sorts of information. If you want to know information about it, you can look here. Here's our president. Here are the contacts for them, and a little bit of the purpose behind it. And so I just wanted to show that to you, that we will show your child that during our AIM mentors. We'll go through a mini lesson with them to try to get them to think about what would be an activity that they would want to get to be a part of here. What club would they want to be a part of? And then after that, like one of the next SRTs, they will have a club fair where they'll go down and they'll actually have booths set up by our different clubs where they get to intermix with them and learn a little bit more. So wanted to just show you that on the website, and I'm sure we'll show you some more things on the website as we go.
Great. Another question that was asked in Amy, great question. The question is, you mentioned various back to school events and dates. Are there any you would prioritize, or say if you make one, then another is a duplicate and not important to do both? So great question. One thing that all students are invited to attend is Oriole Preview Days. And I believe that may have been sent out as a part of the letter that I sent several weeks ago. And basically what Oriole Preview Day, and those are 2 days in July. And that's just basically an opportunity for all students to come to school. They get their schedule, they get their school picture taken. They pick up a laptop if they are renting from the school, and they can make a deposit into their lunch account. They can also buy yearbooks, some of those beginning of year types of activities. And you only need to come to one of those dates. So that's one event. That's one that I would say you would need to come to. And then I would also prioritize freshman orientation. And Mr. Hines was talking about that prior to many individuals hopping on here tonight. But that is a really important day. We get about 90% of our freshmen coming that day. And it's just an awesome way for them to come together as an entire class for the first time. As a class of 20, I believe it will be 27 or 26. Yeah, 27, I think. Or is it 26? 26?
26.
26. And it's just an awesome, fun day. And Mr. Hines, do you want to hit on that again, maybe just real quickly again for those that maybe didn't hear it?
Yeah, so freshman orientation will happen. It's about a week before the school year starts. It's only freshmen that are in our building, other than our 11th and 12th grade AIM mentors. And the students will report directly to their student resource time, or SRT, classroom. So they will get to learn right away where is their SRT, which is one of the key locations that they need to know how to get to. And there'll be a lot of adults around helping them, and our students will help them get to those classrooms. They get to go through what lunch looks like. So, that's always kind of an intimidating time. And it's just because there's a lot of kids in there, and you've got to figure out what line do I go through. And so freshman orientation does that. We have a nationally recognized speaker, Keith Hawkins, that comes in and does a lot of exercises to try to build community and help our big school feel smaller, and try to kind of get an identity for our freshman class. and it's just a really good day. 90% of our freshmen will have been joining that over the last few years, and it's just a great opportunity to learn where your SRT is, B, meet your AIM mentors that will be in your classroom during the school year, go through lunch, learn about the key features of the building. Students won't actually walk their schedule from like classroom to classroom, but they'll go on a tour that figures out kind of where are the different locations in the building. And it's just a really good day for our freshmen to just get acclimated to what our high school looks like, and just learn a little bit more about our school in general.
One of the questions to build upon that, are the mentors available throughout the first few weeks of their freshman year? Mr. Hines, I know you know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And they're actually in their SRT all year long from the beginning to the end. And they'll do like different mini lessons with them. We talk about our values. You'll hear us say accountable, respectful, and engaged, or ARE, accountable, respectful, and engaged. And they'll do a lesson on what does it look like to be accountable here at the high school? What does it look like to be respectful? How does it look like to be engaged at our school? I told you about clubs. I think most of you are on here. They'll do a club lesson. They will talk to students about, just a variety of things, and ultimately just be there for them, whether it's help on homework, whether it's just wondering about, hey, how do I get to this spot, or this class I'm going to, or what teacher do you like, what classroom do you like? When we get to scheduling, our juniors and senior AIM mentors are really good helps to talk to our kids as well. So they will have mentors with them all year long.
Right. There was a question about when freshman orientation is, and I have sent that date into the chat. You can see when that will be. Another question, will university and college representatives visit the high school? And if yes, when does that happen? Are parents invited to attend? So appreciate the question about wanting to help your son or daughter navigate their future. And yes, we do have college representatives that visit throughout the school year. Those are primarily focused toward our seniors to attend, and maybe at times our juniors, just because of limited time and space to be able to have people visit college representatives. And that happens really during the fall is the primary time when those college representatives come. Parents do not attend those types of meetings, but that does not mean that information that is gathered from your son or daughter that you couldn't reach out to the college and college representatives and speak to them a little bit more in detail. And but one thing to know is that as you get into that junior and senior year, we will have evenings where there will be maybe a college representative, and we invite parents to this, a college representative that will be speaking to parents about the college admissions process. So those are things to just be aware of and watch for in communications that go out to families. One thing that I will mention is that Hendricks County every single year has a Hendricks College Fair, Hendricks County College Fair. That is typically in March. And the Hendricks County College Network actually runs and hosts that. And that's happened every year for many years. And many times that is some of your smaller colleges and universities, but still a great event to go to. So be sure to look out for that. And we try to publicize that when that event happens. It's already happened for this year, but any grade level can go to that night. But that's an awesome night for our county, and great that we have an organization that sponsors it. Is there a place we can see the marching band schedule? I don't have a good answer to that. What I would ask you to do, anyone that is a marching band parent out here, is that I would reach out, either call or maybe email Kathy Clemenson.
I put her email in the chat.
Thank you very much. And Kathy is the secretary in our performing arts department, and she knows all things band. So reach out to her. I know that there is also a band parent meeting that happens sometime in early to mid-May, and there'll be information coming out about that. But reach out to Kathy, and she can, either point you in the right direction or tell you when that information will be published. But that's a great a great question.
So I'm gonna
Go ahead, Matt.
Mr. Shockley, I'm going to go back to Amy Friddle's question on prioritization of different things. So Oriole Preview Day, definitely a priority. I think freshman orientation is a priority if your child can make it, because it's a great opportunity. I would say there's a date, July 26th, that is our freshman open house. So on July 28th is our first day of school, but July 26th, we just opened the building from 6 to 8 p.m. and our students and parents can walk the schedule just to get an idea of how to get from class to class. Not if your child feels really confident about how they're going to go from class to class, then that wouldn't necessarily be a priority. Most of our kids don't always feel real confident. But if I would say, if I had to rank them, I'd say definitely Oriole Preview Day, definitely freshman orientation. And then the freshman open house is great because it's not structured. You can just come in, walk your schedule and leave. But if you feel confident, then it's okay if they don't come to that. But I think it's really well attended just because it gives our freshmen just another peace of mind coming into a large building on where to go and around in and around our building.
Mr. Hines, could you do me a favor and go to the website again? And I want to be able to have the parents know where the class of 2026 information is at. Because that will be, if you've lost the letter or something like that, you can go locate that information. While you're doing that, Mr. Hines, do you have a list of tutors available if needed? There is not a big tutoring list that exists, but we do have student organizations such as National Honor Society that does tutoring for students who need it. So if your student is in need of tutoring services, your son or daughter's guidance counselor will be your best resource to go to, and then they can guide you to the correct person or student organization that may be providing tutoring assistance. Because I know our National Honor Society students, as an example, they need service hours in the organization, and tutoring might be a way for them to be able to do that. Mr. Hines, would you go ahead and maybe do that location of class of 2026 info?
So if you just Google Avon High School, it comes to this page. If you scroll down, that's where all your links are. And there's a variety of ways to get there. I usually go through the guidance page and I click learn more. And then if you scroll down here on the right-hand side, there's a lot of quick links over here. So class of 2026, that would be all of your children, class of 2026. Hard to believe, 2026. But you'll click on that link and you'll scroll down and you'll see a variety of things. So this is where we house everything. This video from tonight, because we're recording this session, will go up on this site. But if I click here for a copy of the parent letter, I believe all of the dates are in here. So you can see that tonight's is here, and then Oriole Preview Days are on July 13th and July 20th. The class of 2026 parent meeting, that will be in the evening on July 20th. And then freshman orientation is July 21st. And then we have the event that I just briefly mentioned about on July 26th, where you can come in and see the school. And then we begin class on July 28th.
Right.
If I go back, you can see there's other things. If you missed our virtual parent night, which was February 1st, just some more information. There's a video from there. And the other, anything else that we add in here will go on this site.
And please know that this won't be the last time you'll be hearing about those events. There will be multiple Parent Square messages that will go out in June and so forth as just reminders about these events coming up. So don't think that we'll keep it a big secret from you again. We will continue to communicate. A question a parent had, I had mentioned something earlier about laptops and renting laptops. And if you're not renting a laptop, should we bring our laptop to Oriole Preview Day, so on and so forth. So great question. It's one we get every single time. So I know that your students have had their laptop, if you're renting from the school, they've had that for probably 4 years maybe. And what happened last year, and I believe will be happening again this year, is that at the end of the school year, the middle schools will handle this process. They will have your son or daughter turn in that old laptop, okay? And then during Oriole preview days here at the high school, your son or daughter will get a new laptop that they will rent for the year. If you are doing a bring your own device, which is totally fine, then at Oriole Preview Day, yes, you should bring that laptop so that our technology folks can work their magic with the device to make sure that it's connecting properly to the high school and so forth. So yes, you can bring your own device and bring it to Oriole Preview Day so that they can check that device, okay? Now, a question we had from a parent last night was that, hey, my son or daughter is going to take a summer school class like summer PE or summer health. What do we do with the laptop that they need that laptop to do summer school class? So what happened last year is that students who needed that laptop for summer school, they kept it. They kept it and used it during the summer to do the summer school class. And then it was turned in at another time. Again, that information will be communicated from the middle schools on what that will look like, but that's how that will be handled. Do we need to sign up our freshmen to take the PSAT or the pre-ACT in the fall, or does someone do reminders? We do reminders about that. Our freshmen have been taking the pre-ACT, and then our sophomores and juniors take the PSAT. That might change with our incoming freshmen, that they may take the PSAT as well. But anyway, the bottom line is that you'll be notified about that. And actually, we handle that registration process ourselves. When can we go to the school and see inside before we are there? Well, I love the question. And Mr. Hines, again, talked about opportunities to make that happen. But the other thing that I will say is this, is that once your son or daughter gets their schedule at Oriole Preview Day, you are welcome to come into the high school as many times as you would like during business hours in the summer, which run around 8 to 3 p.m. And you can walk your son or daughter's schedule as many times as you would like. I encourage that in order for you to have as much comfort as possible about the just how the school's arranged and where classrooms are at. So hopefully, Teddy, I answered your question there of when you can do that during the summer, but that really wouldn't be until July and after you go to Oriole Preview Day to get that schedule.
Mr. Shockley, in regards to the online courses, I think I saw when I just shared my screen, I've lost my chat, but I believe there's a question about how to sign up for Indiana Online. Is that correct?
Yep. So there is.
Same as I showed before. If you go to our Avon High School website and you scroll down to the guidance page and you click Learn More, and then you scroll down a little further, there is a Indiana Online Summer Class information. That is the spot that you'd want to go to for that information. So if you click on it, it pops up. It tells you here for instructions, and that's what you would do.
Yeah, they have a step-by-step process there, so pretty easy to do. Again, summer school classes that incoming freshmen can take is PE and health. That is it. There's no other classes that they can take. So limited options for incoming freshmen. There is a question about, can we use our desktop at home for summer classes? Absolutely, because it's all web-based, so not an issue. So if you've got a computer at home or even a laptop at home or whatever for your son or daughter to use, they don't have to keep that school laptop in order to connect to their summer school online class. Anything we can do to help them do well on the PSAT or pre-ACT? Will we get that information before the summer? What I would encourage you to do for the PSAT, I really don't have any resources to point you toward for the pre-ACT, but the PSAT, you can go to the College Board website, and there are practice opportunities there. that are provided by the College Board. So I would just research that website if that's something that you would like to do. My daughter plays golf. Will there be communication for about the fall season? How will she find out about a practice in the summer or in the fall? I believe, Mr. Hines, we talked to the parents last night about the best way to do that is to contact the athletic department and to get that information. Many times our coaches are trying to communicate that information out to 8th grade families, but my recommendation is to go to the high school website, go to the athletics page, find who the coach is, communicate with the coach, and that individual should get back to you and be able to tell you about what what kind of schedule it might look like. I know a lot of our fall sports coaches, there will be call-out meetings that will be occurring here over the next several weeks before the end of the school year to talk about what the summer looks like for fall sports. So that may be happening through Parent Square messages, maybe happening through messages, whether that's from the high school or the middle school. So just be watching for those, on social media, Twitter, Facebook, as well. Mr. Hines?
I was just showing that this is the athletic site, so you can find out who the coaches are. Here is our athletic administration team here. But then if you just click on, like, if you're like wondering who is the volleyball coach, you can click on volleyball, and then here it'll show you who the coach is, and you can click on them and email them if you would like. So.
And if you see something about a call out meeting at 3:15, and middle schools, I know you don't get out till 4. Okay, don't panic. Again, just reach out to the coach or reach out to the athletic department. It doesn't mean that your son or daughter isn't going to be able to play volleyball or play football or something like that. Just reach out to get more of that information to that specific coach or to the athletic department for information. Scanning. Yeah, to have basketball camps, training for girls during the summer. Again, Coach Stahl will be the person to reach out to with that information. Again, Mr. Hines kind of took you to the website, and there may be information posted under the basketball link as well. How many hours of daily homework are expected during their freshman year? I can't really tell you that there's a specific amount or that would occur. I would imagine it depends on the classes that they're taking. If they're taking more honors level courses, you can probably expect obviously more homework than if you're taking just regular classes. Classes that are maybe more lab based may not have as much homework because it's more of a lab based class. Obviously, PE, choir, band, there's probably not going to be a lot of homework associated with that, except in band, there may be practice playing activities that have to be taken care of, and maybe recordings done and submitted to the teachers for them for the teachers to review. But I can't say that I'm good at telling you exactly how many hours of daily homework they would get. Mr. Hines, you got it. I mean, I would think that they could have an hour, maybe an hour and a half of homework. I wouldn't think much more than that. But Mr. Hines, you got a thought on that?
It really depends on your child and how well they use their time while they're in the school. Because as I mentioned earlier, student resource time is 2 times a week. And that is a time that they can go travel and see teachers as well. Or many students just use it as a study hall where they can do some homework or finish a project or a paper. And then they have a teacher there as well, their SRT teacher they can ask questions from. So there's so many variables with the class schedule, with what day it is. And there's a question here on what the schedule is, what day it is, how rigorous that week is with homework. But I wouldn't imagine your child would be doing more than 1 to 2 hours of homework each night. I just can't imagine that happens. I think there's an ebb and flow with that too. If there's a big project, they may need to spend some more time to that. But a lot of our students are trying to find times during that SRT to really maximize their school time to get some homework done so they can go be in an extracurricular activity, whether it's our performing arts or athletics as well.
In regards to the daily class schedule works, that was a question last night that was posed as well. And we've had different schedules over the last few years. Part of that as a result of COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, we'd still be on the same schedule that we were on about 3 years ago now. The schedule that we're currently on will not be the schedule that we're on next year. In regards to the bell schedule, our start time will still be 8:25 next year, and our end time will still be 3:10. That's not going to change. But the bell schedule and how it works, it will be different next year. Will not be the one that we're currently on. Not going to speculate on what that could be, but that's a decision that we're going to be making within the next month in regards to what that daily bell schedule will look like.
The procedures for drop off and pick up, that's a great question. We actually send a video out that kind of overlays our entire campus from like Google Maps and shows which doors are good doors to drop off at, where buses are located, etc. So you will get information on that, the procedure for drop off and pickup. Probably a couple days before school starts. One thing I told our group yesterday, we had about 50 parents that came yesterday for our live session of this parent coffee. And I said that you got to be thinking that you're going to a small event, that you maybe a theater, a game or something, because there's 3,350 kids coming here. The number of cars on campus, there are a lot of people. It's going to, be traffic. When I go to a Colts game, I know there's going to be traffic, and that's the way it is here at Avon High School as well, just because there's so many people getting on and off campus at the same time. And so we always say exercise patience, especially early in the year. Those first few weeks, a lot more parents want to drive their child to school. And so there's less kids riding the bus, more people driving, which means there's more cars, takes longer to get through the line. We are very flexible with that. So one of the questions here says, do you have any early drop off before 8:25? Our vestibules are open about an hour before school. Now, most of our kids do not arrive an hour before school, but the vestibules are open, and those are under camera supervision at all times. And then our doors open at 8:05. So school starts at 8:25. All of the doors open at 8:05. And so that is the time that they come in. And I told our group yesterday that if you come and you drive in at 8:20 or even 8:15, and you're like, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to be there at 8:15, your child will not make it to class on time. It's just not going to happen because the traffic is so much. So just like you go to those events, you kind of plan ahead to get there early to make sure you have plenty of time. We encourage our students and parents to do the exact same. You'll want to come early. I always say allow about 20 minutes before school. You want to try to get there at least by 8:05 so that your child can get into the building and get to their class on time. Drop off the doors that we use our door 1, our main entrance, where like the clock tower is. We also use door 33 as an entrance. There's some on the back side of the building. I always forget the doors, Mr. Shock. I got to look at my map. Door 28, I believe, is an entrance as well. So there are like 3 really main entrances to be dropped off at. Our buses are on the east side of the building, and those are doors 2 and 4 that our students go in. And as we go through the school year, our traffic gets better because 1, people just learn the process. 2, more people ride the bus. But doors 2 and 4 is where the buses get dropped off.
Teddy asked the question about how will we do the summer school classes. And Teddy, once you're signed up, your student will be emailed the link or how you log on to their learning management system. So they will take care of that and will be sending that information to your son or daughter. And parents, I think you also get copied on that as well. I know when my kids did Indiana Online Summer School. We get copied on those messages, so you will get that information from Indiana Online on how to go to a link or to a site to actually sign in to do those classes. Question about how long should kids expect to be on the bus before and after school? Is it different than middle school? And I don't have a good idea. And Karen, maybe you can put in the chat how long those usually. Your son or daughter is right now on the bus, but so I don't really know how long it is. I mean, I know we have students getting picked up as early as maybe 7 o'clock or 7:15 in the morning, quite possibly. But again, we start later than the middle schools, so middle school kids would be getting picked up a lot earlier than the high school kids for an 8:25. Or I'm sorry, no, that's opposite. Sorry about that. We start sooner. The high school starts sooner than the middle school. Sorry. So we're going to get picked up. Our kids are going to get picked up sooner than the middle school kids. So my gut is that it's probably around at least 30 minutes, possibly, that a student is on the bus. I think is a rough range, give or take, depending where you're at in the district.
Yeah, I agree. Probably somewhere, again, depends on the route and which order you're picked up on. But once they get to school in the mornings, they are on the bus for just a couple minutes before we start releasing them into the building. So that's how the procedure works in the morning.
Question about, can the student walk to school from home? Absolutely. We allow that. Obviously, the sidewalks and so forth are not necessarily prevalent yet around the high school, at least when you're talking about Dan Jones. I mean, there is one on County Road 150 on the north side of that. But yes, the bottom line is that a student can walk to school. That is not an issue.
Question about emergencies communicated to parents, Mr. Shockley?
Yes. So I hope, so yeah, great question. Great question. Again, I hope many of you, because you joined us tonight, you're part of Parent Square. So Parent Square is our main communication source about emergencies that may have happened at the high school. Whether there was an incident at the high school and we needed to communicate with families about that, whether whatever that may be. So Parent Square is that main communication piece. We might get something out on a Facebook or via Twitter, but it's really Parent Square is where we get that quick communication to families. So please be sure that you've got all your correct contact information in Parent Square so that we can stay in touch with you, because that is our main communication source.
So, and just adding to that, yes, we do safety protocols and drills with students. We follow the ALICE protocol for our safety drills. And so that has happened, that we do drills all the way throughout the year regarding incidents. We have 3,350 kids here. And so there are things that happen. We had a lot of questions about this last night, didn't we, Mr. Shockley, about just incidences that are happening. And you're right, there's a lot of happening all across the country, just in general. But we don't necessarily communicate every time something negative happens. It all depends on what is affected, because our building is about 0.3 miles from one side to the other, all under a roof. So, a lot of times something may happen on one end of the building. Nobody even realizes it happened. So, like, for example, one of the questions they were asking about was fights last night. That was something that came up, and a lot of times that doesn't disrupt. It's not a disruptive situation to a huge number of people. And so we do communicate. If it's something that's very disruptive, we absolutely will let you know, and via Parent Square. But we don't send something home every time that there's something that's more, a minor situation that occurs. But Parent Square is a great tool for us, for sure.
There's a question about how will we know whether the work was done in summer school. So summer school work done through the Indiana Online, they have their own teachers that monitor that teach those classes. They are certified Indiana teachers. Actually, some of them are even Avon High School teachers. and they grade it. If there are issues with the class or your student is struggling, the teacher of the Indiana Online course is the teacher to talk to. Avon High School is not reaching out to me or Mr. Hines or your son or daughter's counselor, or is not the individual to reach out to. It is your student's teacher for Indiana Online. When the summer classes are finished, then they will communicate grades to us, the school, and then we will log those grades into PowerSchool, and it will be on your son or daughter's transcript as a result. So that is how that whole process works. But the teacher for Indiana Online is the main communicator. It is not Avon High School. Question about any advice on reducing the looming anxiety that seems to accompany the transition to the high school. And Mr. Hines talked a little bit about this before many of you were able to get on, but again, coming to as many of those before the school year events is really important, because that will help. If your son or daughter is a fall athlete or in band, they're going to be spending a lot of time here already, connecting with current friends, maybe making new friends. So they're going to feel really at home at Avon High School by the time the school year starts. The other thing that I would say is getting involved in an activity, a club. And one thing that will happen within the first probably 2 to 3 weeks at the beginning of the school year, we will have a club fair. And that is when, and we will have all of our freshmen will go to the gym. They can go and explore all the clubs that are available, sign up for those. So that it's something they can get involved with, because that is really a way to break the big high school down into a smaller pieces where you can create those relationships, create those memories, and have a lot of fun for your high school experience. So those are just some ways to make that happen. Is Schoology used at the high school? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And really, Schoology parents, I just would highly encourage you to work with your son or daughter to see their Schoology account, and it is the best way probably to go to see what teachers are posting in regards to assignments. I know I was talking to a teacher 2 days ago, and she has basically a rough outline of her lesson plan for almost the rest of the school year in regards to main activities that are being done, assignments that may be for credit, tests that are coming up. So Schoology is a great place to go to keep track of maybe things that your son or daughter has to complete for their classes, especially if they miss school and they're absent.
I will say, I'll piggyback on that. I think the pandemic has helped us be better at Schoology. I think your child could log on to Schoology and show you next year. You'll see a really organized folder system that our teachers use to try to help our kids stay organized and make sure that they're able to access any of the material, but also help you as well to see that. So I think our teachers have, due to the pandemic, have become much more proficient and better ultimately with our Schoology platform. A lot of questions here. Early dismissals, absences, and appointments handled in the office. Yes, we do phone calls, or there is an email address that can be utilized. That's one of those things that we mark that in our system. So we always encourage parents to be informed on PowerSchool. So PowerSchool, which most of you probably have, and if you don't, I would encourage you to get it now for your even in the middle school time. But PowerSchool, you can set up different parameters to get notified of attendance. And so you would see if you felt like there was an early dismissal that was incorrect, then you would want to let us know. I can't say we have had a couple instances where maybe a teenager was trying to be sneaky, but the vast majority of our dismissals, absences, appointments, et cetera, are all handled very, very well. And so we have an attendance email address. It's called like AHS attendance that you'll get, and no reason to know that right now, but you'll get that next at the beginning of next year. And that will give you that information. You can send it to inform us, and then we can make sure we get a pass to those to your child when they have to go to an appointment, et cetera.
Question about Junior Honor Society. The high school, at the high school, students are eligible to meet the criteria to be in National Honor Society at the high school level. That's during their second semester of their junior year into their senior year. So that is only junior and senior year for National Honor Society. And again, there is criteria to meet to be a part of that. And information will be shared about that closer to that time.
I learned something today, Mr. Shockley. So if you go to our club page, so let me go back here and I'll just show you. So if you're on the Avon High School page and then you scroll down, because you always want to scroll down, you go to clubs and then you go down to the National Honor Society. If you click on the National Honor Society, they actually have a link to their NHS page. And so if you click on that link, it actually brings you up to a variety of information about our Avon High School National Honor Society. So that is just a way for you to, if you want to learn a little bit more about that specific organization, you can do that.
There's a math question about it's my understanding that students need to earn their math credit classes in grades 9 through 12. So would the credits my student would be earning in 7th and 8th grade be eligible, or will they need to retake those courses? So basically, and this may be for student or for families who as a seventh grader, maybe they took algebra, and 8th grade they took geometry. You don't need to retake those courses at the high school, but the credit that for graduation has to be earned, and this is not an Avon High School requirement, it's a state requirement, that those math requirements to graduate from high school have to be earned while the student is in high school, okay? So taking those classes, those math classes early, just allows you to kind of get ahead in regards to the course sequence. But those math credits toward a diploma, those have to be earned while you are in high school. So hopefully that answered your question. Driver's education, we do not, Avon High School does not offer driver's education. However, the CIESC, which is called the Central Indiana Education Service Center, we are connected to that organization. They have, and you can just Google that and go to their website. They do offer driver's education, but then of course, you know, there are various groups around Avon that offers that as well. And then do you still need to inquire with the school office regarding work permits? Is that accurate now, Mr. It seems like the law changed with that.
Yeah, I think they just changed where we don't do work permits anymore. I think the actual employment, like the place of employment, wherever your child gets a job, they're the ones that takes care of the work permit.
Yeah, school does not.
It used to be that you'd have to come in and get like your place of employment would give you a piece of paper. You'd bring that to the high school, but that's not the case anymore, I believe. So,
parent volunteers, are they able to come back in? They are. We don't have tons of parent volunteers, but that doesn't mean we don't want parent volunteers. But yes, parent volunteers, that we are good with having them back. Karen, I have to chuckle with yours. I'm more stressed than my kiddo. Maybe I'll walk around the high school. Happy, you know what? Just email me. I'm happy even to escort you, or Mr. Hines would be happy to do that if you
absolutely
makes you feel better. And we'll bring tissue boxes with us if you need it, so that we can console you as you walk around. Happy to do it. What about? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Selecting the class schedule seems pretty overwhelming. Will the guidance counselors check over what we did? Absolutely. Our guidance counselors are excellent. They're going to be looking at your schedules, making sure that that your child's meeting all their graduation requirements. And so, yes, that is absolutely going to happen. Plus, they will get information each time that we do scheduling. So that just happened for us. Like we just wrapped up our scheduling for next school year for our current, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And we do things during our SRT, student resource time. We have videos. Our counselors do great videos that they share out. Our program of studies is a great resource. So if you go to the guidance page and you find our program of studies, it has every single course, exactly what the course is about. It has more information than you probably want. 102 pages, but a lot of times I'll just Control F on the PDF document and type in maybe something engineering. If I want to look up engineering or a medical field, you can look it up and find out what courses go along with that. but absolutely our counselors will go over the schedules to make sure that there are not any mistakes. And then tutoring program, Mr. Shockley mentioned a little bit about National Honor Society. We also have a STEM tutoring program, so science, technology, engineering, and math, that meets every Tuesday after school. And so we have students that go to get tutored every Tuesday after school in one of our classrooms that your child will learn about when they're here. But I mentioned student resource time. That's really probably the best way when you think of tutoring to get direct help from a teacher is during that student resource time. So our teachers have passes during student resource time that they can give to a student. So if Mr. Shockley was the teacher and I was a student, I could go to Mr. Shockley and say, I need a pass to come to your SRT. He would give me a specific pass. And then during SRT, I would just show that to my SRT teacher. And then I would go to his class. I would get the help that I need during that SRT time. So that is really one of the best options to get the help. If you need help with algebra, you could go to the STEM tutoring. You could go to your math teacher during SRT. And then we talked about National Honor Society. There's some options there. And then ultimately Khan Academy, there's a lot of free resources on the line that if you get to the point where they need some help, you just send an email to their math teacher or to their guidance counselor, and they can give you some other free resources that are out there as well. Homework hotline, Rose Holman, actually that you can do this now for 8th grade as well. But Rose Holman has a homework hotline that's free, and you can either chat, you can email, you can call them. If you just type it in Google, Rose Holman homework hotline, you can find some information about that. So hopefully that answers the tutoring question.
My 8th grader took algebra, Spanish this year. Credits won't count toward, but grades count toward the GPA. Is this correct? Yes, you would think I would know that right off the top of my head, and I believe that it is. And I'm going to do a quick look on that.
Yeah, the credits will still count towards graduation, and yes, they do count towards your GPA. But you can choose. There's an election process that if you do not want to take those credits, you can elect to not do that. And that's all in the program of studies. I'm actually going to show you where to find this program of studies real quick.
I appreciate that. Yeah, because Mr. Hines, the answer to that question is in there, and there is a deadline in regards to when you have to do that. So just pay attention to that if you choose to not elect to take the credit and grade for those courses.
If you click guidance here and on our website, and then you just scroll down to academic programming, and there's a variety of ways to get here, but it tells you a link to the 2023 program of studies, and it just comes up as a PDF document. And so if I just hit Control F and I look up credits, I think is what you were asking about. Is that right?
Yes.
There's a variety. You can just kind of scroll through the different credit options, and eventually you'll get to the section. I think I can just scroll down because I think it's early in here if I remember right. But there's a section in here on credits. Credit. Can't remember where it is.
Yeah, I'm
scanning. Taken in the middle school. So here, there's on page 12 of that program of studies, and I'll link this program of studies in our chat here. But that gives you all the information you need to know about your credits.
Yep, page 12. That's it. Yep. Okay, it is a little after 8, and I'm happy to take one more question if someone has it before we wrap up for the evening. We try to keep this to about an hour to respect everybody's time. But one last question before we go? Question about who should I contact regarding a change of email in Parent Square. I believe if you contact the school, they may be able to do that for you. You might be able to go in and do it yourself in Parent Square, but you might check with the school. They can help you with that. And then I saw, let's see here, there was a question about the textbook, Teddy. And again, for the summer school classes, the textbook is going to be likely online, and the teacher for the online course will communicate about how to access that textbook. All right. All right. Well, hey, I think that does it for tonight. And I really appreciate all of you being here tonight. Hopefully you got some good takeaways. You feel a little bit better about being a part of the Avon High School family and your son or daughter doing that. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to Mr. Hines or myself or the school for any questions that you may have. And again, a lot more information will be coming via Parent Square in communications about what big events to be aware of heading into next school year. Have a great evening and good luck the rest of the school year.